All right, y'all, it's gonna be getting hot here really soon. Today's Friday. We got Saturday left until the heat wave starts, okay? Here in Southwest Ohio, we're gonna be in the middle of a heat wave that I probably haven't seen the entire time I've lived in Ohio, which is over 21 years now. It's going to get really hot. Are you gonna make it through it, Tootie? You gonna deal with the heat? Yeah, that's right. So here on our property, while we only have a half-acre lot, we do a lot of things that people are going to consider homesteading, right? So we're going to be spending Saturday preparing ourselves and preparing a homestead for a massive heat wave. A lot of times people, kind of get worried about what's going to happen to their plants, what's going to happen to this, what's going to do that. And they get concerned about a strong amount of heat. I mean, we're talking here, they're talking about 94 degrees for 7 or more for 7 straight days. Now, I'm sure people deal with more heat than that all the time. I've been here for 21 years, and this is going to be the most extended amount of that kind of heat that we've had in 21 years, okay? So it's still going to be hot and humid, but not as humid as it gets in the south. That's real. But still got to prepare for this heat wave because we need to grow food. We need to keep these chickens healthy. And we need to do so without as much strain on us as possible as well. So the first thing I'm going to talk about that we're going to be doing on Saturday is making sure that this garden here is watered heavily. Okay, so you're going to want to water your plants heavily. You're going to want to make sure they got a ton of water. The thing about your garden and watering your garden for a heat wave like this is if you have good soil like we have here, the good soil will retain more moisture than bad soil will, plain and simple. Like good soil holds moisture deeper because we got good loose, well draining soil. It will hold that moisture deeper and your plant's roots will go deeper for that moisture. But if you have raised beds or if you have a bunch of containers, then they're going to require more water. The simple fact is resin containers heat up. I don't care if it's a green stalk or a mug bucket like this, they're going to heat up. Plain and simple, plastic just holds that heat, grabs that heat, and it's going to make all the soil in there hotter, the roots hotter. It's going to dry out quicker. So you gotta do more water. We're probably going to be watering all of our containers nearly every day, honestly. Now, also when it comes down to watering, really best to do so early in the morning. Okay, plan is if you need to do the watering late at night or in the evening, that's okay, it's gonna be fine. But the best time to water is going to be early in the morning. Even these grow bags, these sweet potatoes or with garlic or their potatoes, and these tomatoes as well. Even the grow bags will dry out faster. They certainly will. There's just no doubt about it. So we've got to make sure we water those a ton. Now you can extra water your garden, your in-ground garden, and probably be okay for every other day type water. But the containers are going to need to be watered every day. Now when it comes down to the chickens and making sure the chickens are going to be set up to survive the heat the best way possible. Now look, all of our chickens are going to be just fine during the heat, okay? They're going to be able to handle it. It's fine. A chicken's internal temperature is like 104 to 107. Okay, so they're really hot birds already, hot beings, hot birds, and they got the feathers and they got other stuff. So they're already hot. So they can handle cold much better than they can handle heat. But what you do need to do is still set them up to make sure that you can regulate that body temperature. So what we're going to do is, first of all, make sure all of our waters are super clean. Clean waters just promote more drinking water. Okay, if they feel like the water is not clean, they may not drink as much. Plain and simple, they won't do it. So we're gonna make sure that all the waters are super clean. We have a backup water for each one, so we have two waters from the outside, 2 waters for the inside. We only put down one. Have 1 water outside, 1 water inside at a time. We have a spare water for both, so we can switch them in and out. And you need to make sure that those waters have clean water, fresh water, and cold water. And what we do to make sure that water is super cold is we use these containers. These are Ziploc containers, and they have these screw-on lids. Okay, this plastic container is just the right size to fit in our big water or our little water, either one. So you just take these, fill them up with water, not all the way, but most part, and we put them in the freezer. Get them frozen, really good and frozen for about a day. And the next day, when the hottest part of the day, we're going to take out the old waters, put in a fresh water, and that fresh water is going to have these ice blocks in there. Now, you can just take the ice out of your freezer or whatever, no big deal. What we like using about these is like scientifically speaking, imagine that, we use science here. but like a large cube of ice, a large block of ice, takes longer to melt than it does small pieces of ice. So if we have 4 of those large blocks of ice inside the big water and 3 of them inside the small water, the water is going to stay colder longer because the ice is going to take longer to melt. All right, so that's why we use that. And so therefore, when they drink that cold water, it gets inside their bodies, and they don't take big gulps. They get little bitty beaks, right? So they just get a little bit of water inside of them. That water is going to run down and helps regulate their body temperature and keeps them from getting overheated, and keeps them hydrated as well, because a chicken pants a lot. They don't have sweat glands, so they pant a lot in the heat. And so they have their beaks open, panting, and they're dispelling air, but they're also dispelling moisture. Okay, and so therefore they get dehydrated, super dehydrated, and that's part of the issue, if not the whole issue, with a chicken dying in the heat, is they can get dehydrated and overheated, whatever. But you get the picture. You got to take care of these birds. Also, it's a good idea to have some cold treats available for them. Just plan ahead. You know, maybe buy a watermelon at the grocery store and have chunks of watermelon and ice cold watermelon for them every day. Watermelon's super good for them in the heat. It helps rehydrate them, cools them down, and they love it. So we do that. Even heck, cold grapes, you know, frozen grapes, ice cold grapes. We have some apples in there, probably could cut up and give them ice cold. You get the picture, right? Some nice cold treats to maybe kind of get them more active, but also get something cold inside their body to regulate that body temperature. And for us, the last thing we're going to think about is taking care of us too. I mean, if you have a project that you're going to need to do sometime in the next few days, and you know that it's going to be super hot on the back end of that, but you got one day in there that is not going to be as bad, try to do that outdoor project on that day, which is what we're going to do. Like, we need to clean out this run, pull all this stuff out and clean it out, and then come in here and take everything out of the coop and pull it out in the run. That's our coop cleaning process, and it needs to be done, but we shouldn't need to be doing that out here, you know, when it's, you know, over 90 degrees and high humidity. So I'm going to do it on Saturday, hopefully, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. So prepare ahead and make sure that you're just being smart, being thoughtful, paying attention, and being aware of when is the best time for you to do your outdoor projects as well. But certainly got to take care of your food, take care of your animals, right? So be aware, pay attention, and be prepared for this hot weather coming. I'm not sure who else is dealing with it. I think the Northeast is going to be dealing with it as well. And so it's going to be there. It's going to be hot. And Tootie, are you going to be okay? Are you going to make it, Tootie? Are you going to make it through it? What do you think? Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. My name is Jason. This is Art of Creation Homestead. We love y'all. God bless you and goodbye.